A calm morning to you and welcome to Ways Breakfast, #What Are You Saying? The ultimate breakfast show for young and vibrant minds. I know Mondays usually come or has a lot of people feeling different type of ways, but if you're feeling down this morning, exhausted or not just feeling the day, don't worry. The day just got started and it gets better with time. Just take it easy. And if you're feeling pumped up like I am, just know that there is no backing down. Aura for Aura this morning. Every morning with us is a day to learn, unlearn, relearn topics that drive change on every platform. We talk about politics and national interest, trending issues and social commentary, physical, mental, and total wellness, tech trends and innovations, financial literacy, and of course, youth empowerment. You can tune in every Monday morning to Friday for fresh perspectives, engaging discussions, and inspiring stories. Remember, you are the main ingredient in all our conversations. I am Okikiola Taiwo Jalukmo, and I welcome you to the show, especially as your host this morning. And you know, I have my baby girl here with me. She's just here alone, but I will introduce her. Welcome, Oluchi, to the show.
Thank you,
How
Kiola.
are you?
I'm doing well. How are you too?
I'm doing well.
I'm back again with my throat that is always feeling raspy in the morning. But
How was your weekend?
It was awesome. I had a lot of reflection. You want to hear
it? If you start with the financial reflection.
No, it's not a financial reflection. It's actually an emotional reflection.
Ew.
It's not a sad one, but I think it's something that we've heard over time.
Okay.
But you know where some particular things come up fresh again to you because there are new instances that are pointing it in your direction. So, for example, I've heard over time that, moving to people is necessarily not a way to live your life because it can be dampening, can be terrifying and all of that. And you will not really reach your potential. In fact, all those, I want to get revenge on someone because I want to show them that I can now do this and all of that. So it just made me reflect more that, honestly, just go through time. Do your time, right? Do the things that you want to do as passionately as you want to do them without necessarily thinking that, oh, I'm doing this or I'm reaching this height because I want somebody to see me as, oh, she finally did it or she could have done it. All of those things can actually make you even stifled in your good because you're always considering people's appraisal and everything. So I was reflecting on that heavily during the weekend and I felt like, okay, I'm going to do my time, do as much as I can without putting anybody as a factor of wanting to succeed or not succeed. And that's it.
I think I can't say that. Maybe I think I went over this emotion like some years ago. So now if I just do something, I just do it because I want to not necessarily because of pressure or anything. And if I thought there's anything called pressure, it's just going to come from me evaluating myself and knowing that I need to go this extra mile, not necessarily anybody pressure me or whatnot, or even trying to prove. As I always say, you cannot shame the shameless. So therefore, the shameless shall survive.
Yeah.
Anyways, this Monday morning, we're talking about our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And you'll be wondering, what about him again? But our Mondays are all about issues of Nigeria and all its spheres of affairs. So it concerns all. But first, if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, please click that subscribe button now, like and share this link. As I said today, we're discussing the opposition politics in Nigeria. Let's go on a break right now. We'll start off today's topic right after the headlines across the globe. Please stay tuned. Glad to have you back from that break. Now let us take a look at what the news is saying this morning from the pages of today's newspaper. We have The Punch, and the Vanguard this morning, or the Guardian, I mean, this morning. We will not be flying abroad today. We're going to be talking strictly Nigeria as it concerns Nigeria. And starting off with the Punch newspaper this morning is Oluchi.
All right, the major headline reads defection, has to do with our hot topic for today. It says PDP calls emergency meeting to halt hurricane Tinubu. Nigeria not drifting to a one-party state, presidency says. APC welcomes Oberewori and others today. NDLEA seizes 1 billion naira drugs in 80-room hotel raid. Heritage Bank, NDIC begins 46.6 billion naira payout to top depositors. Federal government targets 70% local pharmaceutical productions. Ondo doctor and others face charges over abortion for 10-year-old victim. Fitch upgrades Lagos, Kaduna, and 2 other states' investment rating. And above that, we see U.S. report calls out Nigerian trade barriers, port corruption. And that's all the story for the Punch. But honestly, there are some things that can make you really edgy this morning just coming across the Punch newspaper. And it has to do with a lot of moral calls in our society today. I think people are already missing out what right and wrong ought to be. Before I go to the other story that I'm going to elaborate on, I want to firstly talk about this NDLEA stuff. I mean, it's outrageous that, drugs worth 1 billion naira was seized, or, they were able to find it in about 80 rooms during their hotel raid. And it's like, oh, so this drug trafficking or drug misuse is still rampant, because this is a large number. This is not mistaken. This is not one person, one bad egg in a situation in that sense. This is a strategic work by some people that are still hell-bent on constituting nuisance in the society. And that leads me again to what exactly is right and wrong in our society. Are we progressing in understanding what right and wrong is and implementing that to ensure that our society becomes better? Or are people just getting worse by the day? During our campus tour, one thing that stuck with me, apart from our panel sessions and, the amazing speeches, was the students themselves coming out to say that change necessarily is not firstly from the top to the bottom. It's really just about us. Mm-hmm. Right? So we can go about complaining and saying this and that's happening, and we cannot deny that. We're not going to be diplomatic and say it's not happening. That would be being, delusional. But yet, when we are to determine what right and wrong is, we find ourselves not doing well. This takes me back to a story I saw over the weekend. An Access Bank staff, I've forgotten the position he holds now.
A quality assurance staff. So it was alleged that he had put some cameras somewhere and was monitoring people when they had to have their private moments and all of that. That's also a problem of right and wrong. Some of these things, I think they are now becoming psychopathy, honestly, because Nigerians or Africans generally do not take therapy seriously. They don't take mental illnesses seriously. They feel like everything is spiritual, just dismiss it. Either
and all
physical
of that.
Or spiritual.
Exactly. But the traits we're seeing these days with how people are defining right and wrong, it shows that maybe therapy should start being taken seriously, because it's a psychopathic behavior. How would you, as a normal person earning good enough, derive so much pleasure? Well, it's a mental illness, so yes, it's pleasure, but it's absurd in seeing people's nakedness. And some reports were flying that they were not sure how much of correctional measures were done to, curtail the whole situation.
But they say he has been released.
He has been released.
He's free to go.
He's free to go and cause more harm, because who knows? The essence of correctional measures is to ensure that this harm doesn't come back again. So they're supposed to spend some time, right? And, be duly dealt with. And then this whole drug story. But let me take you through the other one that is going to break your heart, but we should still talk about it. The whole abortion story. So the Punch has it that at Ondo State Magistrate Court, sitting in Akure, has ordered the remand of 2 men, Adebowale Adegboye and Idowu Akinseye, in prison custody for allegedly raping a 10-year-old girl, name withheld. While Adegboye is the father of the victim, Akinseye is the stepfather, and the duo were alleged to have had carnal knowledge of the victim at different times in Akure, the state capital, before they were arrested by the men of the State Police Command. And also a medical doctor, Israel Ojo, who allegedly aborted the pregnancy for the victim, was arrested and charged to court alongside the 2 defendants. I'm trying to see if Okay, I think they were arraigned in court for on 5 accounts of charges concerning incest, abortion, indecent assault, while the medical doctor was charged with abortion. I can bring out several angles to this story. First of all, I don't even know who escalated the issue that made them got arrested. But I mean, a medical doctor, I mean, the medical profession have, oh, you're smiling, Kiki. The medical profession have certain ethics that these people are meant to abide by. But again, I've been saying this thing, right and wrong seems to become blurry for many people now. And this is a very sad story. A 10-year-old that is supposed to get her protection, firstly, from her family, is now being at a juncture where everything has been defiled. And it's very sad. And we were arguing this morning that whatever was met on them, whatever punishment, probably is not even deserving, because these people can still come out later in the future, and I mean everything will just go back there. People easily forget wrongdoings, and it keeps replicating in the society. My question now is, how can this be really mitigated? And we know that right and wrong in society cannot totally just be mitigated. That would almost be like removing everybody in the world, because we all have our instances of doing wrong. But this is already sad, and I'm wondering what safety measures can be done for this 10-year-old child, because she's just starting out her life. 10-year-old is not even a teenager yet. Like, she's really just starting out her life, and she has, firstly, abortion. She's been abused by not just any stranger, but a family member. What kind of rehabilitation measures are being done to ensure that she's able to be put better in the society? Because one of these things I've noticed that even children that are abused, if they're not taken care of, they still become a threat to the society later, because it does something to their mental health, and they are rewired differently many times in the negative. So it can look like, oh, she's okay, but when she's 16, 17, she can be meting out harms to other younger boys or even her fellow girls as well. So what do we really do to ensure that, apart from the perpetrators being punished, these young people that were victims, how do we ensure that they grow up to become normal and sane and not replicate whatever injustice was met on them? So I have a lot of questions, and I'm going back to what I started with. What is right and wrong, and why are we falling short, to just be just in our society? That's all I have to say.
I think I'm going to put some things on social media. I'm going to talk about how sometimes social media makes things look very subtle, like have a soft landing, and there's nothing new under the sun. But for such a child, when I was reading the story, till now, I don't even know what to comment, because it's like I'd rather be there physically to see these people. And I'm sort of also urging the government to now start putting life imprisonment for people who rape, especially when they rape an underage. Look at, this is a child from the father and the stepfather. And the description of the kind of things that they even did to the girl. And I also have the issue of when they're asking, I know that evidence is necessary and all of that, but when they're asking certain questions, it could also be deepening the wound that a child might have. Where did he touch you? How did he touch you? When they were mentioning how the stepfather, or the description was like he put the left finger in her private part in that sense, I was just trying to think about what she was feeling, what she was going through, what she thought maybe was normal. Since her father could do it, then her stepfather was no different. And the fact that they had to take such a child for abortion after knowing fully well, I'm sure that for some reasons, if that abortion was successful, they would have continued defiling this girl, and she would have kept quiet about it. Saying that we don't even know how they got the news, I'm interested. Where's the mom? Do you understand? How did they get to know? Just like you said, what safety measures are put? What
relationship did the father and stepfather have to be able to, in unison, bring such harm to a girl?
Where did they even find the doctor? What kind of hospital is this doctor even operating in? How many more has he done that we are not aware of? So there are so many questions.
What would be done to the girl after now? Is it just, sorry, put her in one home?
In most cases, I usually advise taking her out of that, taking such people out of that area. Because whether or not it's their fault, people generally have the tendencies to look at people with judgmental eyes. And that thing in their head will be like, this girl. These are the people that they will not want their sons to get married to. They will not want their other daughters to associate with. So there's already stigmatization, whether it's being said out loud or not. So I don't know I don't really know what to say about it, but I really hope that this girl gets real justice and gets better and be able to manage. Trauma can, we have spoken a lot about trauma, and I always say that trauma can never really just go. Sometimes some things come up again that looks like what you have been through, or just maybe it happening to someone else will trigger what has also happened to you, and it gets harder just managing it. And for a 10-year-old, I don't know what her mental capacity is.
Definitely not strong enough
to be able to
handle
even manage or handle such thing. But I mean, that's about my comment for now. But on the Guardian newspaper, we have the headline reading, solar panel imports ban may trigger 150% price surge and worsen energy cost crisis. And on the left-hand side, we have, don't don military attire, army urges Nigerians. In between that story, we have, Nigeria won't be great without Agric, says Afeba Balolola. NLC cancels May Day celebrations in Rivers and Edo states. Below that, we have, Tompolo endorses Tinubu for second term, says Fubara will return. Presidency, civil society clash over Tinubu's alleged one-party state agenda. No cash above $10,000 must leave Nigeria without declaration, EFCC warns. Over 80 northern communities under a swap control, says group. And the last story here reads, Fulani headers get 48-hour ultimatum to leave Benue community. I'll first start with this Fulani header story, because the Benue community have sort of been experiencing a lot of death tolls. The death tolls have been rising from clashes from the Fulani headsmen and these community people and their crops. So I'm glad that to start off, they're first starting to evacuate what seems to be the problem before now addressing the issues of open grazing, the issues of what they can do to, mitigate most of these problems that they are currently facing. And we're also talking about the issue today of this idea that the presidency is moving towards a one-party system. And we're going to be emphasizing on that topic today, and how other political party members are now seeming to be on the side of this so-called government that everybody, or if I would say most people are complaining, are not working for them. But basically, that's all we have on today's newspaper.
But there was something I wanted to mention I saw last week concerning that EFCC story. They were saying nothing less than $10,000. So I saw one story that said EFCC members were outraged. They were full of rage necessarily because some motivational speakers were demanding $18,000 for mentorship. And I felt like, why won't you feel pained? How much do you even earn? And then someone is just saying you can achieve and perspire to aspire. Let me mentor you for
$18,000.
That is how many millions of naira?
I really want to aspire to perspire to collect that kind of amount, to be honest. So
it's a funny one.
Just relax. After I start collecting my own.
They will come and hold you because you don't deserve to collect that much. I'm keeping the society safe, and I'm not earning up to $1,000, and you're just trying to motivate people, and you're taking 18,000.
Accountability is very important. Anyways, as I said, that's all we have for today's newspaper. I hope you've been able to learn one or two things from this news. And if you want to comment about what has been said on the newspaper, please feel free to talk to us. Our social media platforms are showing on the screen right now, and our phone numbers are also available to you. We'll go on a break right now, and then we'll come back straight with our topic for today. Please stay with us.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlights. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
Welcome back to the show. As mentioned earlier, we're talking about the opposition politics in Nigeria. We're discussing the latest developments in Nigeria's political landscape, specifically focusing on the 2027 elections and President Tinubu's potential strategies. According to a recent article, Tinubu's strategic moves have seemingly disrupted the opposition's plans, leaving them scrambling to regroup. The article suggests that Tinubu's approach has been effective in scattering the opposition, but questions remain about the long-term implications of this strategy. There are strong indications that the recent political moves by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are responsible for the defection of top opposition figures to the ruling All Progressive Congress. Sunday Punch noted that the APC and the President, who had been on the defensive against criticisms from the opposition and anti-Tinubu coalition groups, might have turned the tables around. However, while some sources and opposition figures claim that the president deployed inducements and blackmail, his supporters said he provided good leadership, which made the party attractive to outsiders. I don't know what to say about that, but that is what it says. Now we're asking master stroke or mischief. Fellas from the APC identified governors Umar Eno from Akwa Ibom, Peter Umba from Enugu, Abba Yusuf from Kano, and suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara from Rivers as 4 new converts expected to join the party in the coming weeks. And just on the news this morning, Oluchi already mentioned that some others are now defecting into the APC, and I don't know what to say about that. And a lot of people are saying that it is not a rumor, it is happening. This was one of the things that these 4 governors mentioned, saying that they are already on their way to join the APC and nothing is taking them back. And this comes barely 3 days after the defection of the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oberevi. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Oboreri or something, and it's his predecessor, Ifeanyi Okowa, and all the members of the PDP in that state. Imagine an entire state defecting from PDP to APC. And their change of allegiance was announced last Wednesday by the Senator James Manager, shortly after meeting that lasted over 6 hours at the government house in Asaba. Another source, however, didn't rule out the mischief and blackmail in the arrangement. He cited that the president convert meeting with Fubara in London as one of such. This meeting, convened by an online media platform, didn't say that what they said or the reason for the meeting, but they just mentioned that the meeting details were unconfirmed. But it was at the meeting that they believed that Fubara must have been coerced into considering the idea of defection, as this would assure that he can return to office and become the governor of Rivers State again, and maybe arrange something. And some people are even talking about the corruption case of some other governors where if they defect to APC allegedly have a way of protecting people who are in the party. And we have issues from Kano State and all of these people just moving. And it brings me to also think about all the Labour Party members who have also moved to the APC, and the Labour Party is supposed to be like this stronghold. From the 2023 election, they looked like almost the neutral real opposition since the time that PDP always came as the opposition in that sense. But now it's not looking like APC, PDP. It's now like one party, but then they now look like the coalition, and then LP is like the standing alone party. But with the way things are going, it's not looking as if even the Labour Party people that are now supposed to be the ones who are already in power, who are supposed to be at the forefront of holding the party together, are now defecting to the APC. We now have where even meeting with other party figures to come together to beat the Tinubu in that sense. I've not even been able to make it work. And then these people are now coming. And then I read somewhere in the story where it said if a beautiful, as a beautiful lady, right? Let me quickly put that in their words. He said that if a beautiful lady, or I'm
I
struggling
think
to
it was
find
something
that.
like a beautiful lady will attract a lot of suitors because she's pretty.
Because she's pretty. So you said that those suitors should not come. And they also said that if somebody is built a beautiful house and your own
Shelter.
house is tattered or has no shelter, what are you going to say she should not come in, or
Find
the
her.
person should not come in? And the idea that politics is always looking for, politics is generally about numbers. How many more people can we put into our own party? How many
Influential
more people, how
people.
many more influential people in that sense can we put into our party? And one thing I've said, as somebody who has run on the small parties, is that the APC, this is not trying to help them with their party structure or anything, but the APC sort of knows how to identify people. If you have 5 people who are loyal to you, the APC wants you in that party,
Yeah.
because they know that 5 people can bring another 5, another 10. So that's more of the way they break down multiplication, which I think that a lot of other parties should now start replicating, which I've not seen. That's talking from my own personal experience. And I think that if they have that kind of system, we might be able to now start replicating the idea or the kind of powerhouse that the All Progressive Congress currently have. But I just want to hear what you have to say about this.
My first question is, it's not almost like, I have questions in my mind, because looking at this whole story, even the introduction that you read, it said that some rumors are making it look like there's some manipulation in place. So I think necessarily one-party system is not like the first time it's going to happen in different nations. And I think in China and some other places, they've seen some success with it, even though there are still, hitches here and there. But it's not like Nigeria is the first person to want to almost start embracing a one-party system. But the motive behind it is what's making me question a lot of things. Because at the end of the day, that's what is going to affect governance. That's what's going to affect whoever is going to come lead us, right? So it's about seeing this in a very holistic manner. Why is it sudden? And why is it like a whole number at this time? It's not like it was happening gradually. It's almost like 70%, 80%, a large chunk is just going this direction. And it's almost too strategic to want to deny. It's too strategic. What really happened that made these people pull out these influential individuals?
They just said that the party is looking great.
That is just one side of the story. Like you always mention, politics has the controversial story and the conspiracy theory in it. Because this introduction you read said that some sources said that there were some blackmails. You cannot deny blackmail there. You could have blackmailed someone that if you don't join our party, this is what we're going to expose. I've been watching a lot of blackmailing movies lately, and I see the way politics
can do.
It's a terrible thing. They can just tell you we're going to release this, do that. Sometimes I even wonder that some of these people that embezzle money, that it eventually comes to light. How are you not sure that they've been warning them that we're going to expose this?
It's most of the time, it's usually their somebody who was friends with them or somebody who was in the system with them.
That exposes it for them.
Maybe if you not give the person the position the person also wants, the person tends to have details and then sell it. Because most of these news houses too are looking for stories to buy so that they can also get...
So there's blackmail that is at the back of it. But let's look at it. Do you think that there's like some light at the end of the tunnel with this initiative? I mean, everybody has been criticizing the present administration, and it's almost like a fear that, hey, in 2027, if this is the only party standing, most likely this is their most influential candidate and is going to run again. And that's the reason why Nigerians are not going to see this news as something to embrace. But let's look at it holistically, like in a very unbiased way. Do you think that there's some sort of benefit a one-party system can bring to Nigerian politics? Do you see stability? Because for the longest, I think the competition has not even brought any progress so far. Let's take it backwards from 2015. I mean, it was PDP that was in power for a long time. APC did the same move again. They did some coalition. They got into power. 2023, LP came up, sprout out, and then we're doing amazing work. So it's almost like this underlining power dynamics and struggle. Maybe it's one of the reasons why we're not having a lot of stability in our governance. So if there's now one-party system in that sense, there's no unnecessary competition, everybody has just one goal, they're supporting one person, I think maybe some bit of stability can start coming into governance. And that's my 2 cents starting the conversation.
To be honest, the presidency have rightly mentioned that Nigeria is not moving to a one-party state system country.
That sounds
and
like
all
a
of
very
that
diplomatic
stuff.
way of not pointing fingers at me.
But to be honest, it's more of, with the way Nigeria is going, with the obvious realistic issues that Nigeria is facing, especially I'm not even talking about the economic crisis and all of that stuff, but the political system, how people can cross carpet. 1 minute I'm already in the Labour Party, the next minute I'm back. There is no, even in the system, there's no stability. No look at point that stability into
the governance.
into governance or even into the economic power in that sense. So if it's going to be a one-party country, please let them just go ahead and just do it. And then maybe it will save us from INEC issues. It will save us from a lot of other rigging. So many things could end just by Nigeria being a one-party system. So many things could also start by that. There's not going to be more power tussle in that sense. There's not going to be too many oga at the top in that case.
And it's going to be harder for the underdogs to want to defect to one person, because it's like, who are we going to support at this point?
Imagine if somebody like Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Atiku
and they'll be in the same party.
In the same party where they want to pick one leader. So for some reasons, the essence of so many parties is the fact that somebody wants to be the head. Look at the Labour Party currently facing the issue of who is the chairman of the party. We have 3 people who are fighting in court that they are the chairman of the party. This one is saying that he started the party. This one saying he funded it. This
and
one
saying that they
this.
are the cause of their problem. Because if you can't even bring stability to your home, seeing that they are using the allegory of home to paint this story, that's why they can leverage on the strong individuals there to bring. So I'm wondering why in a party, first of all, you cannot firstly decide who would want to rule or
That's
who would
what
want to
happens
be
when
in
there's
charge.
too many oga. So that's what I'm saying, that one-party system could bring a lot of end to some things that are still current, that are still issues in Nigeria. But it could also start something that never ends. And we could even have an issue where we might not even be having, election can now be changed at any time. Sometimes because there's so many diverse parties, people can write petition that, why are you changing the date of this election when it's supposed to hold? Are you waiting to rig enough? Are you waiting to this? Are you waiting? So opposition sort of brings that agitation and that hope when it comes to elections. But when it now becomes a one-party system, it's almost like whether you vote,
will produce the candidate
whether
and
you
the
vote
opposition.
or you don't vote, nothing changes. But I also want to look at the side of we as Nigerians looking at this now. The 2027 election is coming. A lot of people are saying that Tinubu is going to be the person. Tinubu is running again in 2027. He has not outrightly come and say that he's running again in 2027, but from all the things that we are seeing, from all the things that are happening, it looks like it. It's becoming closer, and it looks like he's not saying anything. But silence can also be an answer, right? And then we have a comment here saying, to be honest, I don't know much about party politics, and I'm not really intrigued by it. I just care about seeing the country work. And that brings me to the question, all this jumping from one party to the other, does it truly reflect the will of the people, or is it just selfish ambition? And I'm going to answer in a very absolute manner. It is selfish ambition. There's nothing about the will of the people, because really, if somebody votes you in by one party, by saying that the Labour Party is the party that is for the masses, and this person votes you in by that party, if you switch to another party like the APC, you're not switching, carrying the policy or the rules of that party into the other party. You're not going to be bounded by the rules of the new party that you are going into. So if the APC has a party where it is a rotational governance, that's what you are going into. You're not moving and saying that, you know where I'm coming from. Where you are coming from becomes the past. It's almost like using their own words. It's like saying that you moved from being a single lady, becoming married. Do you understand that kind of sense? And you're not saying that you are fine with living in your father's house while maybe your partner is living somewhere. It doesn't work. It means that when you go into that new family, there's some culture, there are some rules, there are some things that whether or not you are fine with it, you're sort of going to abide by. You might be able to contest it in a setting, maybe by speaking your mind or saying that this is this, but you're going to be bound by that thing.
You know what I see with the whole story as well, before we get to the part of what Nigerians think about it, of which I am one, is that these people that are differing, deflecting, what's the word now, from one party to the other, already shows that these are people that are not even trusting their policy from the first party, like they were in. Firstly, do you get what I'm trying to say? It shows that you were in a particular party, and these guys, had some certain policies that they wanted to push up. I mean, in 2023 election, we saw how different parties had different policies and manifestos that they wanted to bring to pass. And because of the whole deflecting and everything, I lost the train of my thought for a second, but let me go back to what I was saying. So, firstly, policy making differs in different parties. I mean, what one party uses as a strong point to want to come in for an election and want to win or bring out their candidate is, oh, this is what we are promising the people. So if it is something that you believed in so much, why do we now see you leave that cause to now go to another party because of what it's promising? And this shows a character flaw. And I know it's politics, and politics don't really care about character flaw or anything. It's just about getting the work done, or nobody cares about the good and bad. Or maybe in politics, good and bad is so mixed that there's nobody that is actually trying to separate it. But honestly, I'm taking note of this people that what's that word? I'm trying to look for it. Moving from one part, potting, like they will say MTN pot, from one party to the other. This shows that these are not people that they should put in to certain position or different candidacy spots, because it shows that you are not even a very loyal person to whatever policy you had before in your former party. So coming here doesn't mean that you have something great to still offer. And then the whole power tussle of wanting to impose my own policy in this party because I'm here. The whole part also of, who is going to be in charge now? Who is going to allow this one come to pass and everything? So I think for Nigerians, one thing to start spotting now is these people that are potting. First of all, follow the news very well and note this individual so that in case they want to start running for certain opposition or anything, you already know where their intention lies and you'll be able to have a better background to make your choices at the end of the day.
I like that you left it at that. But we have to go on a quick break, and then when we return, we'll be talking more about other parties and how what role that they play in this game. If you're wondering where to contribute to this discussion, our social media pages await you. We're ready to hear what you have to say. They're showing right on the screen, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for commenting and giving your own take on everything that is happening and how this opposition, from cross-carpeting to picking which side to be on, to blackmailing, to regrouping, to coalition, is really affecting us Nigerians. But now talking about majorly what's happening with these other parties and why is it so shaky to the point where one party is winning over the other. We have, starting off with the idea of coalition. Coalition has been a thing for many years. People have won elections from just coming together to either beat the other party that's been in the system for whatever long. It happened in 2015 when they took Jonathan out of the system.
Yeah.
The CPC from who were loyalists of Muhammadu Buhari came alongside the APC to come together and actually get into that. The bargains were properly made and they were able to take the PDP out of power.
So
now
looking like that's what LP and PDP should have done if they want to stand a chance with
So
APC.
I cannot pick these two parties together. There's so many other parties in Nigeria and so many other ones that have...
With key players.
Yes. For example, the NNPP has Kwakwanso, and in the last election, Kwakwanso won that state just by being in that party. So there's so many parties in fact, unbelievable parties. There's some place in the east where APGA is the party that wins, right? So it's not just picking two parties together. I'm looking at where is APGA going to stay, where is SDP going to stay to now come together to now say that, okay, we're beating in what states? We have 36 states where some states have one party winning over the other, and that's like a common thing there. But if we're going to be picking like these key parties, which if I'm going to highlight is the APC, the PDP, now the LP, these three parties are the parties who are the most prominent, let's just say, spearheading the whole thing. If the PDP and the Labour Party actually decide to come together to sort of beat the APC, who is going to come up to say I'm running for the office? Because that was one of the reasons. That was one of the reasons that the party started having issues in the first place, where Wike came up saying that he's supporting Tinubu, and in that case, it was more like people were accusing him of anti-party activities, and why will you come out to say that you're supporting the other party when you're already in this party? And then Atiku coming to run again, and it was still like a nothing agenda in that sense, where a lot of people are saying that, no, we don't want Yoruba or Hausas again. It's now time for the Eastern, it's time for the whoever to now rule the country. So in the cases of coalition, where do you think that, let's leave the APC out of it, where do you think that these other parties lie, especially with the fact that they have not been able to also battle or figure out their internal party crisis yet?
So firstly, seeing that you have mentioned some other small parties, I mean in quotes, the APGA, the SDP, the NNPP, maybe we should start having coalition on a smaller scale first, and then now rise eventually to do the bigger one so that you can stand a chance. Because what's happening is that I just see APC taking it a step further from what they did in 2015. I know nobody is going to come out to look like they are the ones spearheading this or everything. It's all the diplomatic response that you will get. But this is showing that they are trying to hold on to governance. Before then, PDP used to be the, ruling party for a very long period of time. I think my dad used to say for 16 years. And then APC, out of nowhere, with this nice initiative, brought them down. But of course, because of the law of criticism, they have to do something extra to stay there, because LP and even PDP at a point showed that we're not going to let you hold on to this power for too long. But it's looking like the top power figures in PDP and LP don't seem to want to come to an agreement. I mean, we're discussing with some respect a lot, and it was almost like these people could have stand a chance, PDP and LP, if they had come together firstly to not tackle APC. But of course, everybody is greedy and they want the power to be from them directly. That's why we didn't see it happen. But if I'm looking at coalition, I would say maybe smaller parties should start coming together. We have a lot of fragments of tiny things just scattered around. And these tiny things are not making impact. And sometimes, if you want to just join your body with the big ones, nobody is going to give space for you like that, because what have you even done? Exactly. I mean, if it's an LP that wants to come to a PDP for a coalition, they might want to consider, because these guys, they gave us tough time in 2023. But looking at someone like APGA now, coming to an APC, they're like, what have you people really done, except in the strategic locations that you're in? Yeah, you can be of advantage to us, but I think that this is the time where lesser parties should start coming together to fight together. And it's just a strategic move. You already know that you're tiny and you're scattered. You don't stand a chance till you gather your fellow tiny people so that you can start infiltrating gradually. And they should stop. They shouldn't think that this will happen for 2027 election. It might not happen this 2027 election. They're going to throw the guests to a further election, maybe in 2032 or 20 whatever now. So I think all these lesser parties should start coming together. And this is a very good initiative for the Labour Party as well. I'm not trying to take any party side. I'm just trying to talk as if I'm a strategic political person, where you can start thinking of, let's focus on these smaller parties and see how we can unite. I honestly think that a lot of these parties should be taken away from the system because of what impact. You've been there for too long. We've not seen you rise to opposition at any point. Maybe for governorship elections now, but for that presidential, it's always been about 2 people. 2023 changed it to 3 people. And it looks like it's not going to be 4 anytime. So if it is 3, this smaller party should start thinking of that 3rd person, or maybe the 2nd, to join forces with. I mean, look at Kwakwanzo. I think if he had joined forces with even PDP now.
No, he was in PDP before. Kwakwanzo was in
I thought
PDP.
you said the NNPP.
Yes, before he moved to the NNPP.
Oh, okay.
He was a PDP
He was in
person.
PDP before,
Yes.
but then he went to NNPP to form his own party.
Yes.
And
No,
then,
not form his own party.
Okay.
The NNPP is a stronghold in the in one region of the north.
but they ran for presidential
Yes,
election.
he ran for
And
presidential
they came,
election.
is it 4th place or what?
Yes, but he won in that state.
So, I mean, if you even wanted to even come to what I'm saying is that why don't you see a Kwakwanzo and Atiku coalition to, bring down...
Selfish reasons or personal demands. So most of the time, the reason for coalition is that I have demands, you have demands. This is who we're trying to unseat.
Nobody wants to bring down...
Yes, this is who we're trying to unseat. So
That's why I'm
how
not even
can
looking
they
at the big
come
dogs
together?
anymore. I'm looking at the smaller dogs. Pardon my French. They should start thinking of how they can come together to start rising to the point of opposition. Else it's going to be like this for a long time. Because it's somehow always hearing that the strongest parties, 2, it's 3 this time around.
Every time lesser evil. Every time lesser
Let us
evil.
have more of the lesser evils. Join forces together so that they stand a very great chance. So that's my own thoughts on coalition, instead of having them scattered around.
So let's just imagine, best in conspiracy theory, give it to me. Thank you. So let's imagine that this eventually happens, where there's a strong coalition and we now have still a 2-party system where all of these other smaller parties can have now figured themselves out and come together to unseat the APC. Do you think that the APC has the power to change what's going to happen or to still remain in power in 2027? I know that this is a very direct
This is
question.
very direct. And the way it's looking now, politics is also very, fluid? I mean, it changes every single time. But the way it's looking now, they are standing a really great chance of coming back in 2027. And let's not forget that idea in every Nigerian's mind, and even in politicians, when one person enters, he has to complete that 8 term. To us, we have voted a 4-year tenure for someone. But trust me, when we did that thumbprint, it was 8 years.
For 8 years, and that is the minimum.
That is it.
That is them being
I think they
nice.
should start changing and stop lying to us that it's a 4-year thing. Maybe, of course, when Jonathan was, he didn't win the next one. Maybe we started thinking that, oh, yeah. But we already have it at the back of our mind. And when we sign in for these people, we're signing an 8-year thing. So the way I'm looking at it, we're going to have this strong party. I'm saying it very authoritatively because look at all the facts and figures. I mean, if you're having influential people like this, Iwike, Fubara, people that are already taking, flights to this party, who else is there again? Literally. Obi, who is going to be standing with anymore? Do you get it? So it looks like they have stronger forces now to come back in 2027. And honestly, let me even tell you, even if they did not, I still feel like they still have a very, very strong chance of coming back in 2027. So let's brace up for it.
Basically, my own parting shot would be that I just hope that for some reasons, this whole political party thing in Nigeria, because it's almost like there's Nigeria, there's political party, there's economic crisis, and then they don't seem to come together to just merge. And then what happened in politics would relate to what's going to happen, or what happens in the party will relate to what's going to happen in the country, that will now affect what's going to happen in the states and all our issues therein. But I just hope that they can figure this out and then we can have a future-forward Nigeria rather than going back and forth. Because after 2027, there's another, funnily, after this 2025 election, there's another 2027, there's another 2032, 31. there's one in between that, and elections will not stop anytime soon. And the way it's looking, we are going to have democracy for the longest of time. So voting will always
You
happen.
don't want democracy to happen.
It's going to happen. No, I don't even want military rule. And that is where we wrap up today's show. I'm sure you learned a lot from this conversation. Please ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as we introduce to you every day new topics, new interactions. Our social media platforms are showing on the screen. You can follow us on at Official Upgrade TV on YouTube. You can follow us on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're here to answer you. And you can interact with us further even after the show. Drop your comments. We're here to listen. And then follow all us and our social media handles. We'll see you tomorrow again. Goodbye.
Hello, you. Yes, you. This is Usayome Sale from Ways Prime Time. Now, we appreciate your continued support for watching our content, following us across all our social media. But we've noticed, for those of you watching us on YouTube, 88.5% of you who watch our content aren't subscribed to our channel. Why? Now, if you are enjoying our content, you enjoy our shows, and you want to stay updated on all things Ways, it's time to hit that subscribe button below. Now, subscribing isn't just for you. It's for the growth of our channel. It helps us get bigger and better. With your support, we can continue to bring even more intriguing and exciting content. How about you subscribing right now and being a part of our community?